Beneath your feet right now, there are entire cities. Not ruins, not remnants, complete underground metropolises carved from solid rock, with streets, homes, ventilation systems, and rooms that once held thousands of people. They weren't built yesterday, they were built thousands of years ago, and no one can fully explain why. Something drove our ancestors to abandon the surface of the earth and disappear into the darkness below. What were they hiding from? What did they know that we've forgotten? Stay with me, because what happens next changes everything we thought we knew about human survival.
The year is 1963. A man in Cappadocia, Turkey, is renovating his basement. He knocks down a wall. Behind it, he finds a tunnel, then another, then a staircase leading down into absolute blackness. He keeps going. The passage opens into a massive chamber, then another and another. He's just discovered Derinkuyu, an underground city that descends 18 stories into the earth. It could house 20,000 people, and it's been sitting there, silent and forgotten, for more than 2,000 years. But here's what makes no sense. Derinkuyu isn't alone. Across Cappadocia, there are more than 200 underground cities, some connected by miles of tunnels carved through volcanic rock. These weren't shelters, they were civilizations, fully functional, self-sustaining, built with precision that shouldn't have been possible with ancient tools. The chambers had kitchens, wineries, chapels, livestock pens, schools, even massive stone doors weighing over 1,000 pounds that could seal each level from the inside. Someone engineered these cities to keep something out, or to keep people in for a very long time. Archaeologists estimate these cities were expanded and used primarily during the Byzantine era, but the original tunnels go back much further. Some believe they date to the Phrygians around 700 BC. Others think they're even older. The deeper you go, the more questions emerge, because Derinkuyu wasn't just a place to hide, it was a place to live, unseen, for months or even years. Why would thousands of people choose to live in total darkness, deep underground, when the surface was available? The official explanation is simple: invasions, religious persecution, war. But that explanation starts to crumble when you see the scale. This wasn't a panic response. This was planning, engineering, generational knowledge. Someone knew this was necessary long before the threat arrived. And then you find the air shafts, over 50 of them, some reaching down more than 200 feet, ensuring fresh air circulated to the deepest levels. These weren't dug randomly, they were mathematically placed, designed with an understanding of airflow and pressure that rivals modern engineering. Whoever built this understood something about survival that we're only beginning to rediscover. But Derinkuyu is just the beginning. In China, beneath the Long Yu caves, there are hand-carved grottos that date back over 2,000 years. Massive halls, perfectly symmetrical, with no historical record of their construction, no tools left behind, no explanation for how millions of cubic meters of rock were removed without a trace. The local legends say they were built to escape a great disaster. But which disaster? And how did they know it was coming? In Malta, the hypogeum of Hal Saflieni goes even deeper, literally. 3 subterranean levels carved between 4,000 and 2,500 BC. That makes it over 5,000 years old. It was a burial site, yes, but the acoustic design is extraordinary. Certain chambers amplify sound at a frequency that affects human brain activity. Stand in the right spot, speak, and your voice resonates through the entire structure. Some researchers believe it was used for rituals. Others think it was something else, a communication system, a warning network, a way to reach people across vast underground distances. What they found next made no sense. In France, beneath the town of Naours, there's a hidden city that sheltered thousands during wars dating back to the 3rd century. Over 2 miles of tunnels, 300 rooms, bakeries, wells, stables, and evidence that people lived there, not for days, but for generations. The walls have carvings, messages, dates, some from the Middle Ages, some much older. It's as if every time the surface became uninhabitable, people remembered the tunnels were there and returned. But here's the pattern no one talks about. These underground cities exist on every continent. Australia has the Coober Pedy mines, where entire communities live below ground to escape the heat. Iran has Nushabad, an underground city with 3 levels and a labyrinth of tunnels designed to confuse invaders. In Peru, beneath the ancient site of Chavín de Huántar, there are stone tunnels with hydraulic systems so advanced they still function today. All of them were built thousands of years ago. All of them suggest the same thing. At some point in human history, living underground wasn't just an option, it was necessary.
So, what were they afraid of? The standard answers don't add up. Yes, there were invasions, wars, persecutions, but you don't build a city for 20,000 people because of a single army. You don't engineer ventilation systems for 50 years of occupation because of a temporary threat. You build something like this when you believe the surface will be uninhabitable for a long, long time. Some researchers point to climate collapse, volcanic winters, asteroid impacts, events that would have filled the skies with ash and blocked out the sun for years. If you knew that was coming, if your ancestors had survived it before and passed down the knowledge, you'd build deep, you'd build to last. You'd make sure your children's children could survive when the world above became unlivable.
Others point to something darker. Ancient texts from multiple cultures describe periods when the sky burned, when the earth shook, when floods consumed entire civilizations. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the Bible, Hindu scriptures, indigenous oral histories, they all mention the same pattern. Great disasters, mass extinction events, and survivors who went underground. This was only the beginning, because what archaeologists are finding now is even stranger. Some of these cities show signs of sudden abandonment, meals left on tables, tools dropped mid-use, as if everyone simply walked out and never came back. What could make an entire underground civilization abandon the one place that kept them safe?
In Derinkuyu, there are areas that remain unexplored, tunnels that go deeper than anyone has mapped, sealed chambers that haven't been opened in thousands of years. Ground-penetrating radar suggests there are more levels below what we've discovered, levels that may hold answers, or more questions. And here's the final twist. Modern survival experts, geologists, and military strategists are now studying these ancient cities, not as historical curiosities, but as blueprints, because they work. The ventilation systems, the water storage, the defensive design, all of it is functional. In some cases, more efficient than what we could build today. Governments are quietly taking notes. Deep underground facilities are being constructed right now in multiple countries using principles that were perfected thousands of years ago.
So the question isn't just why they built them, it's what did they know? Did ancient civilizations have knowledge of cyclical catastrophes? Were these cities built by survivors of an earlier collapse, people who understood that it would happen again? And if so, are we approaching another cycle? The tunnels are still there, waiting, silent. And somewhere, deep below the surface, there are chambers we haven't found yet. Chambers that might hold the answer to the one question no one wants to ask out loud. What happens when the surface is no longer safe? And when that time comes, will we remember how to go below? The ancients did.
They built cities in the dark and survived. The blueprints are still there, carved in stone, waiting for the day we need them again. The only question left is whether we'll recognize the warning signs in time, or whether, like them, we'll only understand the necessity of going underground when it's already too late.